Guernica, Pablo Picasso's iconic anti-war masterpiece, tells the story of one of the darkest conflicts in Spain's history. A struggle between classes and across ideological divides, auguring fascism's domination over Europe. Let's mobilize to the battlefront of the Spanish Civil War. Assassinations, terrorism, and uprisings plagued the young Spanish Second Republic. The country was rocked by a decades-long culture war between the conservative elite and the progressive working class. The right ardently opposed modernizing Spanish society, obstructing changes to labor rights, agrarian reforms, and the abolition of privileges held by the church and landed elite. A religious, ideological, and class struggle threatened to break the state. The Republic's hotly contested 1936 elections resulted in a narrow victory for the Popular Front, a coalition of liberal and leftist parties. Unwilling to accept the results, a conservative clique of the armed forces issued a pronunciamiento and rebelled. The knives were out for the Republic. The Spanish Civil War was fought between two bitter rivals: Republican loyalists to the Popular Front, including communist and anarchist factions, and the Nationalist rebels, an axis of phalangists, monarchists, and conservative Catholics. The struggle soon turned into a proxy conflict fueled by communist and fascist world powers. Italy's Mussolini joined the war, supplying 50,000 soldiers to the nationalist cause. Nazi Germany deployed a brutal expeditionary force known as the Condor Legion, notorious for indiscriminate attacks on civilian populations. The Soviet Union was the only major power supporting the beleaguered republic with military advisors and weapons. Defying their country's neutrality, thousands of foreign volunteers joined the famous international brigades to fight for the republic and save Europe from fascism. Following the pronunciamiento, rebel garrisons rose up in revolt against the government. Nationalist forces landed from Spanish Morocco and secured key positions in the north, south, and interior, but were unable to unseat the Popular Front. Battle lines were drawn. Both sides settled in for a long war and proceeded to purge suspected ideological enemies. Hundreds of thousands were executed, raped, tortured, or disappeared during the Red and White Terrors. General Francisco Franco, backed by his Army of Africa, emerged as the Nationalist Generalissimo and Caudillo, or chieftain. He unified his ideologically diverse rebel coalition into a single force. Meanwhile, the Republic's leadership was plagued by factionalism, and its militias proved disorganized on the battlefield. The Nationalists and their fascist allies waged the War of the North, overrunning the Bay of Biscay coast and Basque country. Next, the rebels launched a push for the Mediterranean Sea and cleaved the Republic in two. The government sued for peace, but Franco demanded their unconditional surrender. The Generalissimo ordered a massive invasion of Catalonia and conquered the notoriously anarchist region. With their backs against the wall, the Republican Army revolted against its own government, demanding the negotiation of a peace deal. But the insurrection soon devolved into a factional civil war between its communist and anti-communist wings. It was all over. The Nationalists rolled into Madrid. General Franco proclaimed a total victory. The Republic was dead. Quickly after overthrowing the Republic, the Nationalists took their revenge. Franco unleashed reprisals against his enemies. Scores of Republicans were imprisoned, sentenced to forced labor, or executed. The war's death toll remains disputed. Figures vary from 250,000 up to 1 million killed. Having conquered the country and annihilated his enemies, General Franco formed a one-party state and ruled as Spain's dictator until his death. The tragedy of the Spanish Civil War served as a cultural touchstone for many artists who witnessed it firsthand. But Pablo Picasso wasn't one of them. He didn't see the horrors with his own eyes, but through the lens of media, as we do. With that shared perspective, he created a universally recognizable masterpiece of anti-war art. But behind Guernica's haunting images also lies a warning from the past. A cautionary tale successive generations have refused to heed.